Hey guys, time to continue my discussion about missile cavalry, and today we'll talk about the Wood Elves Glade Riders, the longest range of any missile cavalry here, rocking that sweet 150 range on their bows. Only 22 missile damage means it's not the most cost-effective damage in the world, but 4 AP per shot's not too bad. A couple of Sisters of Thorn here. We've got Durthu and an Ancient Tree Man, War Dancers, some Eternal Guards, plenty of Glade Riders, Glade Guards as well. And up against this Greenskins player, who is already winning in my book, because he's brought this boy, the Goblin Great Shaman on a Wolf, which is a classic choice, very squishy, but can be very fun and cheap. And he's got a hugely wide mobile army. Look at this, 4 Goblin Wolf Chariots, got Spider Riders over here, 4... Boar Riders, including Boar Biggins. Make it 5 even, with the Broken Tusk Mob included. We've got Goblin Rocklobber, some Night Goblins, and Night Goblin Archers. And then way over here, already engaging with the Glade Guard and the Sisters, this massive horde of Wolf and Spider Cavalry, including a character here, this Goblin Big Boss and a Wolf. So the advantage of range here is going to be pretty significant. The Sisters of Thorn and Glade Riders kind of working in tandem will be a pretty good combination, because the Sisters of Thorn can, with their physical resistance, kind of charge in, tank damage, use their abilities to help control movements as well as their poison. You can see the Curse of Anraer going down on this entire blob, debuffing their speed there. And meanwhile, the Glade Riders and obviously Sisters of Thorn all firing, and Sisters of Thorn do have much shorter range. Glade Riders, these ones don't have Hagbane tips, which would give them magic and poison damage. Just the regular ones, a little bit more cost effective, but they are able to fire at a pretty good distance where the, Spider Riders and so on can't really touch back. Meanwhile, over on the other side, Wolf Chariots getting involved here, running over some of the infantry. Wolf Chariots actually very good, and in general, Chariots are secretly pretty good against the Wood Elves because their cavalry is relatively expensive. They don't have too many high mass units. This is one, though. This Tree Man going to make his presence felt against these poor Wolf Chariot. Just steps on it right there, blows it up. Poor guy. Anyway, right now the Missile Cavalry kind of taking a little bit of a break from this peripheral engagement. They're now going to sweep back over and prepare to continue to deal with this big light cavalry force for the Greenskins. Mainline engagement's going down, and the Boar Cav has charged in, done some pretty effective damage. You can see the War Dancers really not trading cost effectively at all. And meanwhile, Durthu taking consistent anti-large armor-piercing damage from the Broken Tusk Mob and those Biggins there. So he's not in the best situation. Chariots continuing to ride dirty over the Wood Elf backline, but this is going to be pretty critical to get rid of all this light cavalry, so that these Wood Elves light cav can then come support various engagements. And yeah, the Sisters of Thorn definitely pretty important in this type of a situation, but you can see, oh man, Curse the Bad Moon going down in the back line there, absolutely wild for the Greenskins. A lot of the Greenskins infantry units have been routed off, but coming around for a second push, no doubt. And Durthu's still not feeling great. There's the Wa now being popped. That'll especially help these Boar Biggins juice up their attack, and up to 40 weapon strength. Pretty impressive as they punch Durthu there, or poke him rather. But Sisters of Thorn, they're going to continue to pull away here, and you can see the Glade Riders also. Well, where'd they go to? They're over here in a little bit of a column formation, but going to use the Sisters of Thorn since they got caught there. Might as well use them as a little bit of an anvil and hammer in with some arrows. No, that's not strictly hammer and anvil, but you know what I mean. So yeah, if we check in on the kill totals, only 14 kills so far. But barely any damage taken on those Glade Riders. But yeah, Durthu definitely feeling the heat, down below half HP at this point. The Goblin Great Shaman sending some zaps at the Tree Men. That Vindictive Glare will be a decent amount of damage kind of over time. And the Rocklobber as well. One thing about the... Oh, this is not the ROR Rocklobber. Interesting. The Hammer of Gork is pretty good in this matchup because it has that stat debuff, and Elves tend to have pretty good attack and defense stats, but right now, Glade Riders, or Glade Guards rather, just kind of holding off. The Glade Riders here are finally going to get caught up in melee, but given that they have pretty decent stats for Missile Cavalry, 28 and 24 is definitely not too bad. 27 weapon strength, not going to get that 24 charge bonus, but they are going to take some damage considering the numbers of Wolf Riders here, and the Moon Howlers also being included. They actually hit back just hard enough that one of these units is actually going to rout here, the Moon Howlers themselves, and then the Glade Riders, as they pull away, will continue firing, obviously. And one Wolf Rider goes, next Wolf Rider, as they're getting kind of shot as they run, they are also going to rout away here. And soon it's just a handful of wolves still chasing. Meanwhile, in the rest of the battlefield, if we go ahead and have a look, the Greenskins still punching hard, the wolf chariots causing major problems still, and Durthu finally gets taken out by these boars. Obviously, this Gobbo Big Boss throwing that sneaky stabbing, or they need stabbing rather, on Durthu definitely helped swing that engagement as well, but he is now down and out. This is going to be a big problem, going to lead to some severe leadership issues potentially for the Wood Elves. I mean, they don't have as many leadership issues as the Greenskins, and you can see again, the Glade Riders here getting some support ground fire from the Glade guards there, able to rout away the Wolf Riders, so not too bad. But things are going to start to slide against the Wood Elves as Durthu goes. He is now getting hit, I believe, by the Rock Lobbers and also by the Zaps. He's going to rally his leadership momentarily here. We'll keep it close. Go ahead and throw that Flock of Doom over there on that blob of boars. The second tree man's also fighting. He's now engaging the anti-large AP boars and having a tough time of it. But, oh man, he's going to be a brave little Gobbo and try and finish him off in melee, but instead goes for another Curse of the Bad Moon. Wow, on top of a lot of friendly units here, but especially on those War Dancers. Nice Amber Spear cutting through the side. Keep in mind as well that the Curse of the Bad Moon does lower armor, so it is going to help somewhat against this Treeman here. The Whistle's Wild Form will help kind of counteract that a little bit with the extra armor from that. But nice zap. Clips Durthu right in the head and actually takes him out there, so nice finish from the Gobbo. Great Shaman. Will it be enough, though? The Wood Elves, I mean, the mobility still being online is potentially an issue. Like, you can see these Sisters of Thorn out of ammo now moving in. These Glade Riders can also be used to pressure routing units, chase them off. They're going to use up last of their ammo as they do so. But the Sisters rear charging this blob that has formed around the tree men will trigger some pretty significant terror routes, especially if they can get rid of this broken tusk mob. It's providing encourage to everything right now, as is the Gobbo Great Shaman, of course. But yeah, they actually do get finished off here by the Sisters. They're now going to move in and proc that terror rear charge. Blade Riders, as I said, can be used to help mop up some routing units. They're kind of just throwing shots at whatever right now. But like these Gobbos are going to get cleaned up in a very short amount of time. So pretty good stuff so far. 49 kills, not even halfway to an XP shot. It's hard to say in terms of value, considering they were kind of just dealing with cheap skirmish cav. But considering how much the Greenskins are actually pretty close in terms of model count at the start of the battle, interesting. Very, very interesting. But another Curse of the Bad Moon going to be thrown here on the Sisters of Thorn. It does magic damage, so that's a nice way of kind of dealing a little bit extra to them. It debuffs them as well. You can see they're down to 0 armor, only 9 melee defense. But Gobbos can't stand up to the terror of the tree. And meanwhile, the Glade Riders are going to keep pursuing. So we're going to fast forward somewhat, as this is going to be a bit of an extended late game scenario here, where we've got plenty of routing units and other units kind of coming back from route, chasing things various ways. So yeah, we're going to keep it going. Blade Riders eventually finish off those Gobbos there, and finally, in the very late game, they're going to get caught up and pretty well savaged by the Wolves and the remaining characters and chariots and so on. Not a lot that can be done there. Meanwhile, the tree men and infantry just kind of holding out here defensively. There's not a lot they can do to overchase, and just kind of chilling, allowing the vigor to refresh. You can see the tree man's now back up to tired, which is pretty important in this type of a late game. But the Glade Riders don't actually get fully chased off. They do come back. They're just barely on the corner, which is hilarious. And Sisters of Thorn also coming in the late game. The terror of the tree man is significant. He has just enough HP that it's going to be really hard without any kind of anti-large AP. I mean, you've got the they need stabbing from the big boss, and you could potentially get some cycle charge with him and with the Gobbo Great Shaman, but it's going to be tough considering none of these actual units will stand and fight for very long. But keep it fast forwarding as the main marquee unit is mostly done at this point. I believe the Glade Riders are eventually going to come back over here and try and get involved. But yeah, you can see the Wolves come in, swarm the Sisters of Thorn, finish them off, and technically this is breaking tournament rules, although this is not a tournament game, so it doesn't really matter. But these Eternal Guards too, a meaty unit of Eternal Guards with still 73 unit models still online, is just a problem, considering it's all, you know, kind of light cavalry at this point, against this even low tier anti-large infantry with decent stats, it's a problem. Definitely a problem. Sisters are apparently still a problem too, because they're going to get focused down here by all these wolves. Finish off completely. Glade Riders are coming back, but they are just teetering on the edge of their leadership, and without any healing, they're not likely to stick around for long, but hey, they're here still. 67 kills, halfway to an XP chevron. A very essential tool for the Wood Elves, and again, given that they have the longest range of any missile cavalry, you can definitely try and take advantage of that. It is kind of micro-intensive, but another benefit being Elves, obviously, they have decent stats. Being Wood Elves specifically, they have Woodsmen, which is fantastic for light cavalry. Means that you can definitely utilize them in more aggressive vanguards inside the woods, and, you know, fighting other units in the woods isn't nearly as much of an issue for them. We'll kind of do some comparisons as is traditional after the battle's done. But the Glade Riders come back, rout, come back, and then shatter. And they don't do anything, but they're here. And the Treeman does the rest of the heavy lifting, completely carrying the game and terrifying away those poor Gobbo characters. Wolf Shaman, as cool as he is, can't take a big, scary monster like that, so in the end, Luthien's able to pull out the win, so big thanks to him for sending that replay in. It's definitely a super fun one. The Glade Riders, only one of them, but they played a very essential part in tandem with the Sisters of Thorn in dealing with this big, kind of mobile, light cavalry force. Like, if you were to add up these, I guess, what, 5 units here that they were kind of competing against, value-wise, probably, I don't know. What was this, like 1,050 points. This is like almost 1,000. So between the two, that's like 2,000 points. This is more. You've got Sisters of Thorn are, what, 1,200 each? So that's 24. Plus the Glade Riders up to like 3,000 almost. So you would expect that this more potent skirmish force would be able to win. But considering it's a less volume of a skirmish force, right? And a lot of this light cavalry, the Greenskins, was melee, kind of ended up being an interesting situation. But Sisters, 128 kills in an XP chevron, 70 kills for those Glade Riders in the late game. They must have got one more rear charge to get a couple more kills that I didn't see there. Durthu taking damage and ending up taking a fall there at the end, but that's just fine. For the Greenskins here, like I said, it's a win anytime you take the Goblin Great Shaman on any of his mounts, to be honest, whether it's the Spider, but especially the Wolf. It's an absolute win in my book. Big fan of the Rock Lobbers here. I do think there's something to this mobile Greenskins style. I think you might even want to commit kind of all into it even more, or else trading these Night Goblins for Skulkers actually to get the smoke bombs just to maximize your control and mobility advantage. There's maybe an argument there. Maybe you switch them out for some additional light cavalry. It's tough to say. But that second Treeman ended up being pretty decisive, as well as the mobility win there for Luthien. So big thanks again to him for sending that one in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that jazz. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.